Thanks for joining us on this edition of National Focus. I'm Kimani St. In the headlines, Prime Minister Skerrit says his primary motivation is to help people. 60 more apartments in Roseau by 2018, and Castlebrooke's constituency receives the largest contribution for the sanitation program. Stay with us for details of these and other stories after this.
Child abuse is unacceptable. Child abuse is not cultural, it is criminal. And one child abuse is one too many.
For more information on child abuse or to report suspected cases on child abuse, contact the Social Welfare Division on 33 Great Marlborough Street or call 266-3020 or 266-3080.
I am not doing these things for people to vote for me. I am doing this thing because I believe that we have a Christian obligation to help the poor. And we have a Christian obligation to provide housing for the homeless. We have a Christian obligation to feed the poor and hungry. We have a Christian obligation to clothe those who are naked. And we cannot keep saying in this country that we read the Bible and we pray, and then the same people who say they read the Bible and they pray criticize the government for helping people who are in need in this country.
The Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit, has 60 apartments, 24 in Bath Estate and 36 in Emsall, were officially handed over to residents at a ceremony in Bath Estate on Wednesday. Construction of these buildings began in 2013 as part of government's solution to affordable quality housing for people living in the city. Recognizing the need to improve the housing stock in Dominica, the Dominica Labour Party administration initiated the Housing Revolution program in 2006. The nation's leader shared his excitement for the 60 families whose housing conditions have been improved.
There are scores of families in this country who would not be able to own a home, to shelter appropriately their families, had it not been for the intervention of government. So I'm very excited for the beneficiaries of the 60 apartments, because many of you have been subjected to rents. And I can say to you, every government's policy, which we have the opportunity to articulate, comes about by the government's direct interaction with the people whom it represents. And as the Prime Minister of this country, no issue is too insignificant, no issue is too small for me to pay attention to.
Honorable Skerrit says his primary motivation as the leader of the country is to exercise a moral obligation to help those in need.
The Lord has placed me in a position to help people, and I have an obligation to help those who are in need, and I am making no apologies to anybody in Dominica for helping people. And those who do not want to vote for me for that, that's a matter between you, your conscience, and your Lord. Because my primary motivation is not politics. My primary motivation is not for votes. Now, I will be disappointed if you don't vote for me. But that's not my primary motivation. It is to help people create a better life.
Honorable Minister for Housing Reginald Austri brought into perspective the Housing and Sanitation Program. He informed that since its inception, $50 million has been expended on home repairs and $15 million for low-interest mortgages, which benefited over 100 public servants, among other forms of housing and sanitation assistance. Honorable Austri says housing remains a major priority for this Dominica Labour Party administration.
This ceremony here this afternoon is a clear manifestation of government's policy, government commitment, and a promise made to the people of Dominica to providing affordable housing to the people. as part of its much talked about housing revolution, which commenced in 2006. At that time, there was a report stating that over 5,000 homes in this country needed repairs and over 10,000 new homes were required. Now, that was a report that we met when we got into government in 2000. And the total cost of doing all this was estimated to be somewhere in the region of some $300 million. Hence the birth of the housing revolution. But interestingly, that revolution was born during a period of serious economic and financial crisis throughout the world.
He says the DLP administration, notwithstanding opposition, was able to sustain this program for 11 years. The Ministry of Housing received over 1,200 applications for these apartments. The housing minister says deciding who would receive these apartments was a challenging task. He asked the 60 recipients to show their appreciation by embracing their new community and upkeeping the space.
All we're asking you is to take care of the building and to live up to your obligations in the agreement which you will sign, because there will be an agreement, to live up to your obligations which you will sign in the agreement. I want to urge you to foster a stronger sense of family, a stronger sense of unity among yourselves.
2 residents spoke on behalf of the recipients of both apartment complexes.
To God be the glory. We rented houses for years. They were good, nice landlords, not too nice landlords, inconsiderate landlords. However, this is now the past. Thank you, my Prime Minister. Lord, thank you for Skerrit, from Roosevelt Skerrit. On behalf of the residents and myself, we would like to say a heartfelt thanks to the Prime Minister, Honorable Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit, and his government of Dominica, for allowing us to have this beautiful.
Meantime, the nation's leader announced that by next August, 60 more apartments will be made available in Roseau.
And I will say to the families who applied and who did not receive an apartment, because there were but 60 apartments, that God's willing, we will see some 60 additional apartments constructed in the city of Roseau. And we expect these apartments to be ready by August of 2018. So it's a very short time from now. And I can tell you, if you think these apartments are aesthetically beautiful, wait when you see those in Roseau.
In more news, Director of the Research Department of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, ECCB, Karen Williams, has reported that without the aid of the Citizenship by Investment Program, the island's economy would be challenged. The ECCB representative was a panelist at Monday's national consultation at the State House Conference Center. Williams' assigned topic of discussion was financing economic development in the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. The CBI as a tool for financing development and not consumption. She reported that enhancing sustainable development goals require millions of dollars. Public domestic financing is not enough.
The CBI program in Dominica has generated a considerable amount of inflows in recent years, and this has come amidst falling grants and in the wake of Tropical Storm Erica. The funds have been used to fund some essential projects and replace debts.
She detailed the economic status of Dominica and its vulnerability.
We have in Dominica large infrastructure needs, but the tax base is narrow and cannot fund all of government's agenda. Over the last 10 years, economic growth has averaged about 1.6%. This is very low. And we are all too familiar that just one trough or one storm can derail or throw the economy off a cliff.
Tropical storm Erica cost Dominica $1.3 billion in damages and resulted in an impact of 2.5% in GDP. The 2017-2018 projection is 3.1% in GDP, most from CBI funds. She stated that the ECCB had hoped for a targeted growth rate of 5%.
Most of the growth we noted for this year and next year will be driven by construction activity, expected to be funded largely by CBI funds. The country's fiscal position and consequently its debt dynamics have been impacted by the negative effects of the natural disasters. In the last 3 years, however, we've seen an expansion in public revenues, earnings from the CBI.
According to a report from the ECCB, the financial sector is stable and non-performing loans, though high, are decreasing. Meanwhile, in 2015, countries around the world adopted sustainable development goals to address poverty, education, energy, and unemployment, among others. Williams highlighted Dominica's challenges with these goals.
There are also many challenges in meeting these sustainable development goals, both at the national level and international level. Nationally, as I previously mentioned, Dominica has large infrastructure needs. Dr. Honeychurch spoke about the terrain of Dominica. We are vulnerable to natural disasters. These disasters are more frequent and more intense, resulting in government, as Dr. Honeychurch indicated, having to constantly rebuild infrastructure with limited tax receipts.
With the assistance of the Citizenship by Investment Program, there is now an opportunity to fast-track the Sustainable Development Goals by financing renewable energy, constructing resilient infrastructure, executing growth-inducing projects, and social programs targeted at the vulnerable.
CBI resources can also be used to create stronger institutions and the enabling environment for the private sector. For 2016, just to give an example, we estimated that without CBI funds, the country would have had a significant fiscal gap, a large deficit, roughly 11% of GDP. And without the CBI funds, higher debt levels would be required to carry out its development agenda.
The ECCB advocates that the authorities should maintain the integrity of the program and use the funds to pay debts, finance infrastructure, and invest in the productive sector. They also encouraged the establishment of a resiliency or vulnerability reserve fund in line with best practices. You're watching National Focus. More when we return.
When you think about it, food is life. That's why people come to Dominica. They don't only come for the waterfall or the scenery or the views, but it's the flavor. Sometimes it is just what they can taste. The flavors that we have here, you can't find anywhere in the world. They are truly unique. I've been in business 17 years, and I see so many guests come and go. My business is to put a smile on their face and something good in their belly. Everything we serve here is local. It comes from all over Dominica. So we get fresh lettuce or vegetable or fish from Saint-Sauveur, all our product from the farm. Sometimes go on the farm and have them pick. The uniqueness of the experience is in how authentic it is. I heard the taxi driver promoting my plantain chips. I said, that's the best plantain chips I ever have. I don't have to go and put it on TV. Money is not everything, but leaving customer with a smile, friendly service, and they will come back. This is the real Dominica. I'm just proud to be a part of it. My name is Maurice Smith. They call me Rudy. Tourism is my business.
Welcome back. Motorists and commuters entering the capital city now have a smoother experience. Last week, the EC Low Black Bridge, the primary entrance to the main city of Roseau, was resurfaced, the sidewalks refurbished, and the railings painted. The EC Low Black Bridge, previously the Roseau Bridge, first constructed in 1874, stood intact until part of it was damaged in 1970 by Hurricane Dorothy. Part of it was hoisted up and the metal Bailey Bridge was put as a temporary measure but lasted many years until a completely new bridge was erected in the early 1980s, which was then named the E.C. Loeblack Bridge in the late 1990s. This new upgrade will complement the new $18.2 million West Bridge, which will be formally opened on May 1st. Acting Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Chandler Hyacinth, wants more parents to get involved in the lives of their children. Speaking at the graduation of 21 parents from the ministry's Let's Talk Parenting program, Hyacinth highlighted the relationship between students who do well and involved parents.
There's a lot of evidence that the effects of parenting involvement on children, families, the schools, the community, when there is positive parental involvement, it has positive effects. Effects on the children, their families, the school. And this kind of continuous support and encouragement is important in children's learning and their development. This kind of continued support is important because it helps children in their learning and their development. There's a lot of research on parental involvement and what it does with students, especially when we look at areas in education psychology. There's a lot of research in that area.
According to research, the most accurate predictor of a student's achievement in school is not income or social status, but the extent to which the student's family creates a home environment that is encouraging, express high expectations for their children's achievement and future careers, and be involved in the education of their children.
Parents who create the kind of environment at home to help their children to do well at school, they will do well at school. Whether you provide the meals, whether you show interest by finding out what you did at school today, knowing who their friends are, finding out what homework they have, making books available for them to read or taking them to the library, knowing who their friends are. Once you create the kind of environment to make it comfortable at home for them, that will help them in their work. What you say to your children will always help them. You need to have high expectations for them. And you need to tell them what it is you want from them, realistically too. So if you have a child who is a high flyer, you have to set that bar for them high. But if it's a child, you know the child is struggling, you have to know what it is to expect from them, but still let them know your expectations. So they too will know what they have to work towards.
She suggested ways that parents can become more involved in the lives of their children.
You too have to become involved, not just in parenting programs, but in visits to the schools. Be involved in the programs that the school offers. Make it your point of duty to have conversation with the teachers. That is important in children's education.
This, according to Hyacinth, results in more confident, knowledgeable, and competent parents and has significant benefits to the students.
These children tend to achieve more, regardless of their race or their ethnic background. They achieve more. Regardless of their economic status. Regardless of the child's parents' educational level. Once you get involved, they can achieve more. Children generally achieve better grades, better test scores, and they have better attendance when parents become involved. Children consistently complete their homework. They have better self-esteem. They feel better about themselves. They show more discipline. They have higher aspirations, and they are motivated and excited towards school. Okay? Those children too whose parents are involved in their education, they have a positive attitude about the school. We also see improved behavior. Those are the children you see with less suspensions, less disciplinary problems at school.
In more news, on Wednesday, Member of Parliament for the Castle constituency, Johnson Drygo, presented a check of over $800,000 to the Castle Good Hope and Petit Soufriere village councils. Honorable Drygo stated that according to the Honorable Minister for Housing and Water Resource Management, this is the largest single contribution made to any constituency under the sanitation program. At the San Sauvé Town Hall meeting on March 15, the Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit committed over $800,000 to the constituency. Honorable Drygo gave details.
To the Castle Village Council, a check of $220,000. To the Castle Village Council, on behalf of the Deeper community, a check of $110,000. To the Good Hope Village Council, on behalf of the Good Hope community, a check of $222,000. And to the Petit Soufriere Village Council, on behalf of the San Sauvé community, a check of $55,000, in addition to a check of $120,000 we gave them about a month ago, and also to the Petit Soufriere Village Council, a check of $220,000.
Chairman of the Good Hope Village Council, Guilford Laura, applauded government for its hard work in executing the program.
This will help our village go a long way. I know the government is trying its best to eradicate pit toilets across the country. And the government needs to be commended for that.
Natalia Durand, representing the Petit Soufriere Village Council, stated that the funds will be put to good use.
Everybody know how we used to be in Petit Soufriere with mostly everybody pit toilets, so this will be a good gesture for us. Once again, thank you to the government and our parliament especially.
Chairman of the Castle Bruce Village Council, Austin Lockhart, expressed his contentment with the program.
I know the importance of this toilets to the people of the Castle Bruce constituency, Petit Soufriere, Castle Bruce, and so on. And I'm happy to be part of an institution that is now going to see the eradication of pit latrines within our constituency. And I want to express immense thanks to you, Honorable Drygo, for pushing to see the eradication of the pit latrines, and to express sincere gratitude to the government of Dominica and Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit for the eradication of pit latrines in the Castle Bruce constituency.
And finally, this news time, the Honourable Member of Parliament for the Maho constituency, Rayburn Blackmore, has called on young men from Kenfield to attend a meeting to present their business proposals on May 14. The announcement was made at the Kenfield Town Hall meeting last Sunday.
Tell me how I can help you. And you want to get yourself in some small business enterprise development? You submit your proposal. That makes sense. We are going to help you. Because I want to say to you, and it's important for you to understand, that every person is born with a God-given talent.
The Honourable Maho MP is encouraging all those who are interested in skilled work.
Nothing wrong in being a plumber, or a mechanic, or a carpenter, or a baker. Because in many instances, my dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, a good plumber, a good baker, a good carpenter can make more money than a medical doctor, my dear friends. The important thing, because my father was a builder, he drew plans also. The important thing, whatever you do it with the highest degree of excellence.
The meeting will take place at the Old Mill Cultural Center at 6 p.m. on May 14. And that's news. Coming up next, your tip of the day.
I love the freedom when I'm out there. Simply put, the worries from shore, none of that out there. And it's my daily bread. I learned it from my dad. My dad is one of the senior guys here who catch the biggest fish around here. And he's top with the red snappers. It's a family thing. I'm the only one fishing right now in the family. Just keeping it going. I enjoy bringing them up, man. Sometimes you have a yellowfin tuna, 400 pounds. Man, let me tell you, that's just a joy out there. I enjoy going out there and just holding the big fish. I don't lift weights, I lift fish. The morning of my fishing trip, I would get up, make a little spice tea. Then I come down here. I have my GPS, which most fishermen are supposed to have that. Normally I prepare the day before, because whenever you go out there, you must have ice. Ice is a must for preservation of the fish. So I always make sure I have everything the day before. My fish represents me, and I bring good quality fish ashore simply because the restaurants themselves, they have to show a quality product. Tourism and agriculture go hand in hand. That's what I think. We're all connected. It's like a big machine, and I'm just so proud to be a part of it. My name is Brandon Carlisle, and tourism is my business.
When starting a business, it is important to become an expert on what it really takes to effectively run a business. Here is one tip guaranteed to help keep you and your company out of hot water. Always make sure there is and will be enough cash in the bank. The most common business failure mode is running out of cash. If you know you've got a cash flow or liquidity problem coming up, fix it now. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm. Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS News Dominica, and follow us on Twitter at GIS Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. Live streaming is available on our YouTube channel 24 hours a day. From all of us here on the GIS News Production team, I'm Kimani St. Thanks for watching.